many of them are just realizing that they're angels incarnate. Not everyone is fully aware of who they are. Same thing as those who identify as star seeds or indigos. They know there's something about them, but they're waiting for podcasts like this or shows like this. And so the work you do is sacred because hearing someone talk about their story is just the thing that they need to hear that will wake up that data in them where it's the last piece of the puzzle they need to hear where they say, oh, that's it. That's who I am. That's what's been missing.
Life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. Yeah. Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome to the Praise the Sun podcast, where I'm honored to have on my guest, Rachel Corpus. How are you doing, Rachel?
Oh, Sage, I am having the most beautiful day, and you have made it even better. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you. Divine timing, as we all love to say. So I'm happy to have assisted in aligning the vibrational frequencies for this moment.
Well said. I feel it.
Yes, beautiful. So, for our audience who is not familiar with your background and how you got to where you are today, could you give us an introduction to that?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Iowa, Albia, Iowa, small town about an hour south of Des Moines. And I grew up kind of a normal childhood and kind of did the things everybody did, except running parallel to that, I am an angel incarnate. And I always knew that. I always knew, well, what I knew was that I was a little bit different. And I'm sure that everyone listening today who's tuned in can feel that they also are a little bit different. I'm hoping and praying that everyone listening knows that they are a little bit different. We're here to remember and discover that we are different. We're not meant to be the same. In fact, the difference is we are all connected to source, which funny, that makes us all the same, doesn't it? My sacred difference or oneness, however we want to think about it, was I was asked to come here full angel, not a hybrid, not an earth angel, but a full angel from the seraphim rank. I was asked to come here and to be born of humans to help people remember that they are not separate from love. They are not separate from God, and that people can define God however it serves them, as long as that definition of God does not oppress people and that everything they do is in alignment with love. And when I was 4 years old, my family was in a car accident. We were hit by a drunk driver. And in that accident, I was taken to the other side. I had a near-death experience. And in that car accident, I was taken out of my 4-year-old body. And I remember speaking to the angels, the seraphims. And instead of speaking as a 4-year-old, I was speaking as I am now. I had an adult consciousness. And basically, they said, you can stay here with us, your home, here in heaven. And they showed me what that would look like. And they showed me all around heaven. Or you can go back to earth and you can fulfill your mission there. Both will be blessed. There is no judgment. And they showed me what that would look like. And obviously, I chose to come back. And I led a normal life, normal being lots of trauma, because that's what earth is about. This is a divine, difficult school. And so I jumped in. I went through divorce, child loss, abuse, alcoholism, all of the dark stuff. At least my brand of dark stuff. Everyone has their brand of trauma. And I went through it, and my soul ached, my body ached, and I was angry with God. I walked away from spirit, And then I boomeranged back in divine right timing, and I walked back into my purpose, and here I am.
Wonderful. Wow. Wow. So, the first question that I had wrote down as you said that was, how does people remembering that they are not separate from love aid God or the angels? How does that assist them? What does that do?
Well, the angels and God, even though we may be taught that God is omnipresent and like fixed, actually God continues to grow. God is part of us as we are part of God. So every time we learn through whatever we're learning, whether we identify that as positive or negative, God doesn't. There's actually, all energy is neutral. All experiences are neutral. We're here to learn. We get to learn. And so what we do here, as below so above, as above so below, it reverbs back to God. So God gets really excited. Now, God isn't a person. God isn't personified. God is energy. And so God doesn't judge us. God doesn't say, good job, bad job. However, we grow the energy God. God grows through us. We are God with skin on. And so we are the version of God that makes choices. We're the version of God that loves, that produces. And we're the part of God with arms and legs. And we grow the version of God that is completely energy based, the abstract, big God. And so we have this partnership with God. So God has both parts. And so that is our role with God. As we grow, God grows. And it's wonderful to be able to share that, because perhaps in religion we're taught that God is fixed and God does not grow. God is here to grow us. Lovely thought. However, it's incomplete. We are here with God to grow with God. God grows with us, we grow God. It is a partnership. And with the angels as well. Each angel has its opinion, its personality, its soul growth. Angels can have soulmates, can have life purpose. And so as we grow, angels grow. And every being in this universe has its own, his own, her own, their own soul map, their own purpose. And as one individual facet of God grows, that facet or that person starts to resonate into every other part of God. We all grow because of one person's or one butterfly's decision to land on a flower and enjoy that flower. Everyone else in the universe, everything else in the universe begins to grow and amend because of that one butterfly, because of that moment. Everything makes a difference.
Beautifully spoken. So, as we grow, God grows. How
Yes.
do we measure the growth of a soul?
Oh, I love that question. Let me ask let me ask my fellow angels about that, because I don't know the answer. I'm asking Archangel Michael, and he says, in fact, we don't need to, because it would be impossible. We are always growing. The true measurement is infinity. There is no measurement. We're always growing. If we look at let's try to measure time. Time has always been, time will always be. We cannot measure time. Let's look at our frequency. Let's look at the frequency of someone's growth. How much has a soul grown? Let's look at a baby when he is born. Let's look at when you were born, Sage. When you were born, you came in with so much frequency of love, knowledge. You came in with that. That's like your bank account. We could even say you were an old soul. But what that really means is you were born or created at the same moment as every other soul. You began with God. We don't know when that was. We couldn't possibly timestamp that. What we do know is you have taken advantage of every learning opportunity. You have soaked it in. You've digested it. Good or bad, you have said yes to it. And so your frequency, your bank account of goodness, knowledge, wisdom is big. It's vast. You came in with that. And so that measurement keeps palpitating, keeps moving. It's like a dance. And it is impossible to measure because every moment it's shifting, it's growing. And the only way to possibly tap into that and measure it is to feel its love. Now, the vibrational frequency, that is by the moment. We could say, instead of asking each other, how are you doing today? We could say, how's your vibe? How's your vibe? Because that vibe over each moment, perhaps, will affect your frequency. So perhaps at the end of this earthly life, you might go into your frequency bank account and say to your personal angels, what's my frequency now? Here's how it was when I was born. How has it ascended? How has it grown? And that could be a measurement, perhaps. But you already came in with the perfect frequency. You're living in that every day. That's why you are the sage. That's why you are doing your very best to live a sacred, holy life. That's why you are abundant in time, in love, in all things. And so Archangel Michael's answer is, we do not need to measure these things, we get to enjoy. When you enjoy, the measurement's not needed. You get to just allow more to come in.
I love that answer. That's beautiful.
And you got to
Because
learn a little about you.
yeah, yes. And when you think about it, I mean, there really is an unlimited amount of things to learn and grow from and with. So it would
Yeah,
be extremely difficult to measure growth, you know?
yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. I I love talking and communicating with Archangel Michael. That was the first angel that I connected with many years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about Archangel Michael, and some of my viewers know this story, but yeah, I connected with him at a hypnosis conference where one of the leading speakers did this exercise to get people connected with their guides, and I connected with Michael, you know, and that was a really interesting thing. That was just a name that popped into my awareness,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, he certainly loves you.
And it's all love here as well. Beautiful, beautiful. So, what is the how does the angel incarnate? Because I'm assuming there's more angel incarnate people, right?
Yes.
So, is all of their tasking the same? Are they all kind of here to do the same thing? Is it different things?
Yes. To my knowledge, we're here under the same umbrella. We're here to help people realize that they are connected to Source. There is no break from Source. And we're here, we have more assignments. One of my assignments is to help children that are born now uh, engage with their abilities. Because as we live in the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to see structures falling, structures being the money system, school system. I used to be a school teacher, and the reason for me being a school teacher was to not align with the school system and to leave that and burn a couple bridges. And I didn't know why for a while, but it's because now being able to be a mama and help them, help my children and their friends and homeschooling parents, etc. But be able to help this generation forge a new way in the school system. So taking that in a big scope, helping to write curriculum for spiritual children and navigate a new way to educate children who are possibly labeled ADHD, on the spectrum, when that could be very true for their brains, and also they're able to engage with their spirit. So that's one of my assignments, and many angel incarnates have that same assignment. We're helping the new generation navigate the new world. And as the money system breaks down, it's being rebuilt by Archangel Azrael, and how to navigate the barter system, how to navigate the trade system, and how to de-escalate fear as the religious system falls and it is integrated with a more spiritual system as people remember that they are not separate from God, and as I don't want to go too deep here, but as the lies of the Vatican come out, really helping. Our job is to help share the messages of love. The lies that have been held back. I'm not saying that right. The lies that have been told from human to human, they'll be broken. The truth will come out. And our job as angels is to hold space. Humans will share their own messages. Honestly, our message is peace. Peace. It will be okay. Bring the love back. And then the messages that come from God, straight from source, we will share those as they come. And some of those will be directives. There are going to be great shifts in our world, not just America, but worldwide. And so sometimes we just wait for directions. There are many of us incarnate here, and some of them are being born right now. So some of the angel incarnates, their job is to bring forth babies. They're the mamas, they're the dads. They're procreating right now. Some of them are teachers in the school system. Many of them are just realizing that they're angels incarnate. Not everyone is fully aware of who they are. Same thing as those who identify as star seeds or indigos. They know there's something about them, but they're waiting for podcasts like this or shows like this. And so the work you do is sacred, because hearing someone talk about their story is just the thing that they need to hear that will wake up that data in them, where it's the last piece of the puzzle they need to hear, where they say, oh, that's it, that's who I am, that's what's been missing. And so this is a way for me to share my angel message. So I and the rest of the angels are very grateful for this. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you so much. What does the changes look like? What does the new economy look like? Like, what, how,
Good.
yeah, how will
Cool.
our reality change?
Well, they show me that we will be going to a system where all will be honored. So the dollar won't go away, but it will be more digital. It would be a good idea if people looked into XRP. And to be honest, if you would look at anything that the government has said is stupid or has told us not to look at, that's probably the thing to invest in. And yeah, the angels are really, the guides are strong about XRP. Invest what you can in XRP. And people will be able to share what they have with each other. So sometimes it'll be like I said earlier, the bartering system and services for goods that will come around again. And now this will take a while, but things will be fairly priced again. We won't see these price gouging anymore. And then within countries, we will be seeing less trading from country to country. It'll be within borders. I am not shown when that will happen. It does not appear to be due to war. It appears to be due to choice, as if the countries feel empowered to keep their necessities, their resources. They can grow them and keep them themselves, as if the land is now fertile and they can take care of themselves. So we're seeing Mama Earth almost like she's growing a new baby, and the earth will get better in some places that have been too dry. And this will allow some countries who have needed help to actually give help. And so it's not some countries that have been raped and pillaged for their resources will actually be the ones to give help. And so we see a switching around. This appears to be within the next 20 years. I don't know how fast the start will be, but we're seeing a complete turnaround of how things have been. When I ask the angels why this is happening, they're saying because we are now beginning the 1,000 years of peace. The sluggishness of this happening is because we have an overlay of the last 25,000, 26,000 years where unrest, evil was leading the way. That is done, but we still have the overlay or the residual energy of that feeling kind of dissipating. We're still in it. And some people who were really enticed by that and it was working for them, they're really hanging on to that. And so it's lasting a little too long, but dark never wins, never. And now that the 1,000 years of peace has begun, it's kind of like the preface of a book, those really thin pages where you don't really want to read them. You just want to get to the good stuff. But we're in those thin pages where we're kind of seeing who published the book, who's this dedicated to. That's where we are right now. That's about all I know.
The 1,000 years of peace sounds really beautiful.
Yes, that's where we are. When I was first shown this, my human brain went to, well, this will be great for 3 generations for now. I won't see it. And they said, oh, no, you'll see it. It'll be here soon.
They're saying you'll see within your lifetime.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Things do seem to be speeding up and happening a bit more faster. Is that kind of a part of this shift, as in like things like frequencies, time, things are speeding up, things are happening, resolutions are happening faster?
Yes, timelines are combining. Yes. It's very possible that this shift in timeline or this rapid sense of when the 1,000 years of peace might pick up, it could be a timeline maybe above us, but it's collapsing into this one. We seem to have the multiverse effect, the parallel effect, where everything is converging into us. And again, I don't know why that's happening, but it is. And it's not a negative thing at all. It just is. It's just happening. There's a lot of extraterrestrial help as well, and that kind of blows my mind, but they're all good. They're here helping, and I'm here for it.
Are you able to say like what species or names or star systems?
Yeah, that's definitely the Anunnaki and the Pleiadians are here helping. And the Anunnaki are really excited to be here because in the beginning, they say they created a race of humans to be slaves, and they underestimated who and what they were creating. They didn't realize that humans were going to be so sentient and loving. And they've been watching us from the beginning. And now that we are so brilliant and we've created our way into this duality of fear or love, they want to guide us toward love. And they have attempted, they and the Galactic Council have been here throughout time to guide us and give resources, even with government here in this country, all other countries, especially Russia. And they have worked with the governments several times, sometimes providing resources and signing deals that have not been fulfilled. So, for instance, some of the resources they give have been used for weapons. So you can't blame them for not wanting to come back, hesitating to come back and give us what we need if what they give us turns into or is weaponized instead of used for our highest good. But now the prayers, the calls for help are among the majority, and that allows them to supersede any possible threat of what they're going to give us very soon that could be turned into nuclear war or anything like that. So I don't know, Rachel speaking here purely, not channeling. I don't know who's going to be on the Galactic Council. When they visit me, it's a round table of so many different beings. They have worked hard to make it a well-rounded team. There's some on there that I've never seen before, and some that I've been seeing since I was a child. They are all very loving. Some of them show love in a way that feels very reserved. So it's not like they're very cuddly, but some of them are. But they're ready, and this second moon that's been showing up has something to do with it. That's not a moon. That's something else. That's a transmitter, or that's a space station or something that has to do with their visit. It's coming soon.
It's coming soon.
Yep. Soon. Our lives are going to change for the better because of them.
I love it. And so I'm assuming that there's this massive change, and it's because that frequency can no longer exist on this planet as the planet grows and goes through those shifts. I'm assuming like a lot of those negative frequencies that create us in a polarized way, or it's me versus you and it's war and all this other stuff. I'm assuming that has to slowly fade out of existence because that frequency can no longer be sustained on the planet. Is that accurate?
Yes and no.
Okay.
For some, they will stay on that timeline, and they'll always be on that timeline. So we'll have a like a breaking apart of different timelines. So if you're on, that ring's distracting me. Thank you, Target. So some people on I guess I'll just call it a lower timeline. That's probably not accurate, but I'm going to go for it. Those who are stuck in hate, jealousy, they will continue to attract hate and jealousy. And those who are stuck in war, though they may not be choosing it, they will be stuck in war and hate. And that's not ideal, but they will always be offered a way to create up, go into another timeline. This is not ever a punishment. Going into a new timeline that's a higher vibe, that's not a reward. It's just your frequency. So let's say you're stuck in war, okay? You're in a war-torn country. When you're in this timeline, anytime you take a bite of delicious bread, and you have that moment where your frequency lifts, you go into another timeline. Now, a bomb goes off, you're scared, you go into this timeline again. But see, there's moments where you go into this next timeline. And some people in that war-torn country, they might not be able to fully go into this timeline until their time of death. That might just be the way it is. But see, in truth, our souls are infinite. And so 80 years, 30 years, 100 years on this life, on this earth is a blip on the screen. So we're talking about infinity. So there will be a time when these timelines for those people, they don't exist. You're right, they'll fade. And these timelines will be no longer. But for a while, they'll exist because these people will be there. I want to say again that these lower negative timelines, they're not a punishment. They're just there because they're there now. And as they're no longer needed, because we're learning that we don't need negative experiences to grow. We don't need to be punished. We don't need to suffer. They'll start to fade. And then these higher timelines, made of love, acceptance, freedom, sovereignty, they'll start to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And will start to blend into one solid timeline of love. All the other timelines, and there's an infinite amount, they'll start to blend into one timeline and we'll all be together. And at one point, someday, we'll blend into one being, and that one being will be God. And then it'll start over again. God, Source, will say, all right, it's time to have some fun again. All right, who wants to be the first one to incarnate? Okay, let's make a planet. Let's do that. We'll start again.
Yes. And for the timeline aspect, are there so, five hands, are there different aspects of you on each planet? Like
Yes.
different, like me on each one of these timelines and
Oh, yes.
playing out a different role?
Yes, and through meditation you can access those. And when you sleep, you're probably going into those quite easily because when you sleep, you're not objecting.
Right.
You're free. So these might equate to a difficult or bad dream. You might go into like, gosh, I went into my house, but it was just a little bit different. Why were all those doors there? Why was I being chased? You might go into a higher dimension and, wow, I loved my job. Wow, I had a mansion. Oh, I was on the beach. Oh, I got to see my great grandma who passed. But these are your parallels. Multiverse. Yeah.
And if there is an aspect of you on this timeline, and let's say this one passes or something, does that energy go to another timeline, or how does that work? Like if I'm on this timeline, I pass away, does it coalesce into a?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You can look at it two ways. When the physical body dies, your core timeline is probably in the middle somewhere. This is where the physical body is. These are energetic versions of you. These are all energy. And you can have a physical body in these other versions. When there's a death, you'll feel it here. You'll probably get the flu, or you'll be really tired for a few days. You'll feel it. Just like in my parallels, if I have a baby in these, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. If I have an argument, I'm a bitch. Pardon my language. But I am. I can feel it. So these certainly resonate. What happens here or here resonates into the other ones. If there's a death, this doesn't stop existing. You can still access it like a movie that keeps playing or a record that keeps playing over and over and over. Yes, you still have access to it because time doesn't stop. So as far as what I've been shown, these lifetimes keep replaying. But the wisdom that you gain, that energy goes into this one.
Have you seen any of the Marvel films?
Oh, yeah.
Have you
Oh,
seen
I nerd
Loki?
out about those. Oh, yeah. Oh,
So, do you
and
feel
Spider-Man into the multiverse. Oh my gosh, I'm such a nerd.
Do you feel that there is some type of concerted effort to have disclosure of this?
Yes.
I've had this theory myself because I'm just like, we've been talking about the multiverses and timelines for a few years now, and it always feels like to me that media is kind of like the first form of disclosure in trying to expand people's minds. And whenever I see the timelines on Loki and stuff like that, it very much reminds me of a meditation that I had in which I was observing. I had the intention of I wanted to see timelines, and this is before I even seen Loki or anything like that. But I saw it kind of like a nervous system or a tree where there was just different branches and everything like that. And there was one timeline that was a little bit thicker than the other ones and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. And then I see Loki. I'm like, that's exactly what I saw. So I was like, what's going on
Uh-huh.
here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
That's absolutely brilliant. You
yeah,
saw it. And I
yeah.
do believe that they're showing us in the media. They know, someone knows. I don't know if the creators are channeling or they've been told. I don't know, but I watch so much that makes my whole body go into happy chills because thinking this is right, this is right. Even when I was younger and I watched the Chronicles of Narnia and they went through the wardrobe, I'm like, that's a portal. You can do that. You can go anywhere you want. You can time travel. All of that, and watching Ancient Aliens or Ghost Adventures, all of that stuff. I'm like, and if it's not true, you kind of know, but there's so much truth out there, and it's so amazing to watch it come through. And I'm so excited to watch. I think Wicked is coming out this Christmas, that musical, and I'm excited to see it because it's like don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, and just like getting our sovereignty back and just um I'm just so excited, but you're right onto it. I want to go
Nice.
back to what you said. I want to go back. Something's haunting me.
Okay.
Guys, I think that timeline does go away.
Okay.
You're right. You're
Okay.
right. Good call on that.
Awesome. No worries. Yeah, I think about that. I think about that in timelines quite often, and I think about the power of change and transformation quite often because I do a lot of studying of Dr. Joe Dispenza and the work that he's doing and how he's getting people with cancer to have that just kind of completely just,
Yeah.
poof and go away. And the studying what happens during those deep meditations of they go into those deep theta states and then they shoot up to the super gamma and then they get everything recorded. um I love it when he says that they become a different person. And to me, I'm just like, I wonder if that's a different timeline. Like they've shifted. Like they've that timeline where they had cancer, now they're on a different timeline where they don't, or there's some type of transformation there. And I
Mm.
always just think about how can the average person have that transformation, that timeline shift,
Well, all of those timelines belong to you.
right?
They're you, and so of course you could do that. It's just like I play around in my timelines, and I've realized that anything that I desire or want to heal in this version of me, I have realized that it exists in another timeline. Otherwise, I wouldn't be thinking about it. And so I've learned that I can pull anything like copy and paste, just like I do on my computer. I can copy it and paste it into this timeline quite easily. And then because time isn't real, and also it seems to be speeding up, it'll show up immediately, whether it's health, something disappearing from my health, money, a synchronicity. I've learned how to just pop that right into this life. You really can do that. I mean, I had a lump in my breast, gone. I brought thousands of dollars into my bank account, just like that. And all I did was in meditation, I visited myself. And I learned quickly not to talk to her because I freaked her out. She evidently wasn't as spiritual as I am. But what I did is I learned to observe like a fly on the wall. And then I took a picture of it and I brought it into this. And I can walk you through that process if you want. But yeah, it belongs to us. It's our property. So why can't we bring it in here? And if you go into the gamma brainwave, wow, you can really do it. But I found a way to do it without going into the gamma brainwave because that's a little hard for me. So I just kind of sidestepped it.
Yeah, I understand that. I get into theta quite easily. I've been meditating for many years now, so I'm very aware when I'm in theta because I'm nodding off. Like it's hard for
Mm-hmm.
me to stay awake. So I'm like, okay, my brain waves are in theta. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I would love to talk. I'll walk through that process because it seems like the manifestation space have just exploded ever since The Secret came out, and people have just been wondering
Yes.
what are the mechanisms of creating and bringing those things into your reality.
Okay. Now I don't think this is mine. I channeled it. So this belongs to everyone. So I encourage everyone to play with it and try it. This does not belong to me. The angels call this breathing breathing it in like fresh baking bread, but you can use any scent that you want. Here's the process. You begin with like a dress rehearsal. You want to practice it first. So like I mentioned, you you identify what you want to bring into this timeline, whether you want to amplify something, you want to heal something, or you want to create something. So let's create an example. Lots of people want to bring in more money, so let's try that. Let's have fun with that. Let's say let's say I want to go to Hawaii, okay? And I want to save $5,000 for that. Well, if I desire to go on a vacation to Hawaii and it costs $5,000, it's most likely because in another version of me, I am going on a trip. And that trip is resonating into this timeline and it's nudging me, ooh, that's something that would be good for me now. Otherwise, it wouldn't come into my atmosphere. I wouldn't think about it. So I'm going to take that nudge. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to spend some time in daydreaming or meditation. And I'm going to do a manifesting activity where I imagine that with as much detail and feeling as I can, because we know that the universe uses the language of feeling. And that's how we talk to the universe. So I'm going to, and I'll just talk through it, I won't do it, but I could close my eyes and I could think of myself in Hawaii and I could do everything I could to be on the beach. I could imagine myself in a beautiful outfit. Someone brings me a cool drink. I could have the book in front of me that I'm reading. You get the idea. But the important thing is filling my body with that feeling and let that overcome me. And the second important thing is it's not in the future, it's not in the past. I'm there now. I'm there now because the universe doesn't understand time. It only understands the present moment. Now, this is my dress rehearsal. I'm practicing this. I'm helping it be as real as possible. And if this is hard for me, what I can do is I can remember another time that I was on a trip and let my body re engage with that. When is a time I felt really relaxed? It'd be great if I could remember a time when I was on a tropical vacation. Let my body go back to that, pull in those known details, and then translate that into okay, well, this is what it must feel like to be in Hawaii. Make it as real as possible. When I have that dress rehearsal done, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in a smell, fresh baking bread, perhaps, or a beautiful perfume or aromatherapy, something that means something to me. When I have that smell ready, what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine that trip to Hawaii because that's actually in another timeline. Going to imagine that, and as I breathe in the smell, that's copying it from the other timeline. I'm going to breathe it in That's the copy. As I exhale, that's the paste. It pastes into this timeline. So you breathe it in like fresh baking bread, breathe it in to copy, exhale to paste into your current timeline. And then you let it go. You don't chase it, it is done. If you do it again, then it's like too many copies. You have too many copies. You're chasing it. This allows you to do it one time and it is done. When you are human afterwards and you think, well, did it work? Did it work? You simply remind yourself, yes, I did that. I did that. It's done. All right, let the universe take over. It's done. Then you can start packing for your trip. You can start saving things in a pile of your closet. Oh, I can't wait to wear this on my trip. You can enhance the universe's work by planning for it, but you no longer have to worry about it. And that's the process. It's as easy as that. You can then delight in falling asleep dreaming about your trip, but no need to worry about it. You can invite the universe to send you the money. It's all allowing and inviting it after that point, but it's no longer worrying because you did the process. You breathed it in like fresh baking bread. And that's what they invite you to do with the timelines. You copy and paste. That's it.
Well said. Well said. Copy and paste. I've never heard that one, but I love it.
It's
I love
cool,
it.
right?
Yeah, I love it.
It doesn't take long.
Yeah. Why is feeling one of the languages of the universe?
Since the universe works with frequency and feeling is made of frequency, that's the language, that's the chosen language. So the universe doesn't work in language. The universe doesn't work in gifts. The universe doesn't work in any of that. The universe works in frequency, not in numbers, nothing like that, just frequency. The universe is going to match our frequency. And how do we emit frequency? Feeling. That's our frequency. It's whatever we're feeling. So when we have a feeling, we are manifesting whether we know it or not. So our overall feeling, that's what we're sending to the universe. So if you wake up and you feel like crap, you're going to attract that feeling for the next 17 minutes. That's your loop. So if you can find a way to reset, you're telling the universe, okay, for the next 17 minutes, I don't know why it's 17 minutes. That's just what the angels say. For the next 17 minutes, this is what you're going to get. Now, if you have an overall feeling in your life, I'm a victim, that feeling is what the universe is going to say, all right, darling, well, then you are. I'm going to give you more stuff to feel like a victim because that's what you're telling me. The universe doesn't punish, the universe just matches. The universe is a mirror. The universe just happens to work in frequency. So when we're working with timelines, manifesting, we always work in frequency or feeling. Work with the two F's, frequency and feeling. So if you're not liking the feeling that you have, simply say to your angels, could you put a bubble around me right now? Because I'm just feeling human and I don't really want the universe to touch that right now. Could you help me out? And your angels will surround you in a bubble. Just say, I need some human time. Don't make more of this, please. And they absolutely will do that. Talk to your angels because when you're in your human form, which you are now, you have the beautiful gift of free will. And your angels will observe you, but they cannot intervene without your permission. Because as soon as you're born, you're here on your own. When you're not in a body, your angels are your absolute best friends, and everybody has guardian angels. I'm a seraphim, so I also have two guardian angels that are here. When I'm not here and I'm in heaven, they're my best buddies, they're my coworkers. And even I have to work hard sometimes to feel them because I'm in my human form. So I will say to them, if I'm having a couple negative days or my anxiety or my depression are really active, I'll say, I don't really want to manifest more of this. Could you help me out? Put God's light around me. And they sure do. And the magical thing is, as soon as I say that, I feel better immediately. But that's why we use feelings with the universe, because the universe works in the frequency of feelings, double F, frequency and feelings.
Frequency and feelings. Yes.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of frequency, I wanted to ask you, what's the difference, if there's a difference to you, what's the difference between frequency, vibration, and energy? This is the famous quote
Mm.
from Nikola Tesla. If there's a difference, what is the difference?
Frequency is your ongoing mass feeling, like the angels called it earlier, like what you come in with, your bank account. And that doesn't change very much in your lifetime. You accumulate it throughout your whole soul's lifetime, which we couldn't possibly monitor how long that is. And like your frequency, we could say, is very high because you are the enlightened one. You chose your name well. You are the sage. And your vibration, that's like putting money in the bank account. And it does adjust your frequency, but that's how you are in the moment or for the day, for the hour. And the energy affects it because the energy is the palpable stuff around us. Everything is made of energy, absolutely everything. The chair I'm sitting on is actually made of energy. If we looked closely at it and looked closer and closer and closer, it's all energy. Nothing here is truly made of matter. Nothing is. We just believe that it is so much. Everybody believes in chairs so much that they just keep showing up. If we didn't believe in them, they wouldn't be here. You and I believed in this moment so much that we call 11 o'clock. It showed up so we could have a meeting. We are so powerful. We use energy, utilize energy to create. And how do we create it? Frequency. It's those three ingredients: frequency, vibration, and energy. That's the stuff we make to make this soup that we live in when we're on earth. Energy seems to be what we need on earth. It seems to be the resource that changes according to what planet you're on. Your vibration, that seems to be affected by your mood. Your frequency is connected to God. And even when I have met someone who's really sad, their frequency still resonates as love. Even when I encounter a demon, I can still see love in there. All people, all beings, all entities have the ability to have redemption. They all have the spark of God. Everything has been created by source, God. And so that frequency is like the center of everything. That's our connecting point. That's all of us together. Frequency. It's like the concrete that holds us all together. And you have some of that, and I have some of that. And yet your frequency and my frequency, that our individual frequency grows through every incarnation, just a little bit. And your vibration like dances every moment. It fluctuates. How's your vibe? How's your vibe? And then the energy, that's the stuff that we make things from. That's what Earth is made of. And we're all made of energy to some extent, because lamps are made of energy. My hair is made of energy. We use the energy. Spirit's made of energy. I can see when a ghost is in the room because the air in front of me will pixelate, or I'll see sparkles. Okay, who's that going to be? Or the air will get cold. That's energy.
Yes, well said. I love it. Well said. Wow. So, this question is about the levels of consciousness. So, you have the ability to channel and connect with the angels. So, what are the different levels of consciousness? Let's say within you. So, you said this is earlier. You said this is Rachel speaking. So that's one level of consciousness, right? Or
Yes.
awareness, or how would you describe it?
Well, I will sometimes be full angel. And when I'm full angel, I don't engage much as my Rachel self. And I wouldn't say that happens very often. But there are times that it's also not very pleasant. For example, I was with my whole family during the Lionsgate portal, and including my parents. And my parents are very supportive of me, but at a distance, from a distance. I don't share much with them. And when we were all in the car, not a great time for this to happen. We were all in the car. Traffic was kind of wild, and I went into full angel mode, and I got a download from Source. And I kind of went out of my body, and it when I go into full angel mode, it feels like lightning goes through my body. It's not painful. It just feels like it's gold. Gold energy shoots through my body, and then I hear the voice of God. And I would say that's happened maybe 20 times in my life. And my Rachel consciousness will keep talking, but it'll say it's saying nonsense. Like my body doesn't know what to do. And I'm having a meeting. The meeting feels like it's lasting a couple of weeks, but I'm only out for like 10 seconds. So unfortunately, what God was saying was, my dad was driving and he's getting to be elderly. God was saying to me, distract your dad, because if you don't, your family's going to get in a wreck. So that's what I was doing, but I didn't know it. And my Rachel voice was saying to my son, shut up, shut up, shut up. Really embarrassing. And then I was yelling, God has a message. God has a message. I looked like a crazy person. And I could feel the hair on my scalp like shooting up. I don't know what my hair looked like if my whole head was, but it felt like it. They felt like razor blades. And I looked over at my husband and he said, not now, honey, not now. And I mean, I can't stop that train. I can't. And I talked to God later and I said, why? And he said, because you needed to save the lives of the people in that car. Why not? And he's like, it's not about you, Rachel. I'm sorry you looked like a fool, but you needed to. And I was like, well, thanks, I guess. So sometimes I go into full angel, and then sometimes I go into full angel for other people. And I'm just like sitting on a bench and I've been reading or something, and I'll kind of zone out, and someone will be walking by, and I can tell I've done it because their eyes will go wide. And I know that I've gone into like golden form, and I know they've seen something that they can't like they don't understand. I'm like, okay, I know what just happened. You don't, but I do. For the most part, I mesh them together. So I am fully Rachel, where I can be a wife and a mama, and I'm an angel communicator. So what I do is I sit with people in my office or on Zoom, and I on purpose I channel my fellow angels and I help people with guidance. And I can, to the best of my ability, draw in their family members from the other side. That's not my favorite thing to do, but I can do it if they're grieving. And when I do that, it's my voice, but I completely take my personal self out and I just become the liaison. And in that way, it's gentler on my body. So that's a different level I can do. And then my other level of consciousness is I'm just a person. I can just go to the store, my kids' ball games or whatever they're doing, get them ready for the school dance. And I really like that level. I finally like myself. It took a long time, as it is for a lot of us, just to be comfortable in my own spirit, my own body, and just to be a nice person. I'm still working on that, aren't we all? So those are kind of my three levels. It's like full angel, kind of a meshing of both, and just a person. Those are my 3 levels.
Well said. What a fascinating story. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's definitely difficult to balance all of those energies, but you're doing it very well, Rachel. So well.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes. So we reached the top of the hour, and these are the questions that I ask all of my guests. What does love mean to you?
Oh, love that question. Love to me is being fully present and letting people be who they are without judgment, and being in the moment with people and feeling that feeling where I can be me with them, and letting each other mess up, and knowing that we're all in this together and we are all part of God, and there is no real failure. There is just love, there is just goodness, and that we are all connected. We're all part of a sacred family, and that every time we meet each other, we are reuniting. We are not really strangers. Whether we're meeting a horse or a blade of grass or a homeless person or a rich person, it doesn't matter. We're all connected, and that to me is love.
Yes. Yes. And the last question is, what does the sun represent to you?
Ah,
The sun in the sky.
the sun in the sky, a new start. Like Maya Angelou says, we've never seen this day before. And when I see that sun and I feel her, it's like possibility, a new start. Like, girl, you've never seen this day before. Get up. You can do this. Like, yesterday was all right, but you haven't seen this day yet. Go get it.
Yes. A brand new day to start fresh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well said. Do you have any parting thoughts for our audience? Anything that you feel that you would like to express?
Well, I just want to say that even though we're recording this now, I can feel your audience, and I'm proud of them. And I'm proud of you for being so authentic and so loving. And thank you for everyone for hearing me and being with me on my journey. And I'm so grateful. Thank you for accepting me. It means everything.
Of course, our hearts are open with
Yeah,
love and good
I feel it.
vibrations. Yes, yes. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people reach out to find more about you?
Okay, well, I have a website. It's my name, Rachel Corpus. My last name is spelled like Corpus Christi. It's my husband's name, rachelcorpus.com. And then I have a delightful podcast that I'm really proud of, and it's called Angel Talk. And that is available on all platforms, Angel Talk. And you can just learn more about what it's like for me to be an angel. And I have guests on, and it's delightfully authentic. Sometimes you'll hear my cat. Sometimes I'll cuss. You just never know. But I would invite people to listen to that. Um, and I'm on all the social medias, probably not as active as I should be, but life. But yeah, that's me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, Rachel, and thank you all
Thank
for
you.
listening. We'll see you all on the next one. Praise the sun.